Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm sure most of y'all have already seen the incident. Today is hopefully this episode will be out on Friday, tomorrow morning. We are shooting today on Thursday. The incident happened in Tuesday morning this week. What were your initial thoughts, man? How did you even find out about it?
I was giving a talk somewhere and then sitting down, just chilling with people. Suddenly I see my phone buzzing. It's like, hey, did you hear about it? Did you hear about this? And then people are sending me stuff. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Yeah. Stabbing at in the school like that. No?
So, I forgot to mention, that's the high school I went to. The exact high school I went to. I studied there for 5 years. 2000, class of 2011.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, man.
The crazy part is, I guess if it were to be somewhere in Klang
it's a bit of a stereotype lah.
It's a bit of a stereotype,
Yeah.
but not so. Okay lah. I don't know what I'm saying. It is also crazy and shocking lah. Yeah, but I guess it's so crazy because it's a place where I literally studied, man.
Mm-hmm.
When there's videos, photos all circling around, right?
Yeah.
I walk those hall. I was in that tapak perimpunan and I sit there every day, man. Yeah.
I can imagine this. I think why it's a bit more, heartfelt to you is because you studied there, right? And then you were in a space that was your safe haven, for example, and suddenly you're seeing on news somebody got stabbed in the toilet to death, right?
Surreal. It's so surreal. Like I can tell you the last few nights, right, in bed, the memories are just coming back in high school, and you know, I don't know why I had these thoughts. Maybe watching too many movies, or because this is not the first time this thing has happened in the world, not Malaysia.
Yep.
When I saw the news, 14-year-old stabbed 16-year-old girl, immediately the first thought that came to mind, she rejected him.
Yep.
He's a loner in school, an outcast who cannot fit in society. I guessed that. And slowly as the days came, we uncovered the news, right? It's exactly that's the case. So I'm in bed, few nights. You start to think about if it were my time and that incident, I would be lying if I said I didn't have a couple of names in mind of the people that would have committed such atrocities. Okay, it's like you the ones that get bullied, outcasted. Okay, just a little overview first of what happened. Okay, what was reported 9:30 a.m. I think that's when the incident was reported to happen. It was graduation day for the Form 5s. One student was writing how they were collecting their robes, their gowns, graduation gowns. Then chaos erupted. People were shouting like, "Go lock yourself!" Everyone run, hide, and then they locked themselves in a room. Could see the boy in the tapak perimpunan running around with a knife. Eventually, he got hold of a girl, Form 4 girl, who locked herself in the bathroom toilet stall. Definitely out of panic, you don't. How do you react? It's easy to talk about what could be done or whatever, but everyone's in a state of shock now. We'll talk more about that later. Yeah, so the boy climbed in, banged on the toilet door, climbed inside and killed her and murdered her. Today only we just Shamir has been giving too many talks and podcasts, man, ever since the incident blowing up. Today, I guess the latest updates, they found a note that was, if I'm not mistaken, right, I heard this properly, in the girl's body, in the girl's attire, so in her pocket or something. Yeah, so he placed it there.
So, when we speak about that note, a few things come to light, right? It's how it's written. Yeah, we did, right? We saw a picture of the note, right? And I mean, you read the note, I think from a person in this line, one of the things we see is that for sure this guy has lost his sense of humanity. He's using all these gamer terms and all. To him, this didn't seem like a person's life. It seemed like he just needed to complete a mission, right? So his thought process has changed, and as a person who used the game as well, I'm not going to say the games directly contributed to it, but it's what happens when you immerse yourself so much into the digital space that you forget, there's a whole world out there. You lack the empathy, you lack the humanity, and this is what happens.
psychology of the perpetrator.
Yeah.
I would love to talk more about that later. So what happens to the boy right now, man?
So because the boy is underage, right, he doesn't get put into normal prison like us, people of our age. Right, they normally get sent to
18 and above.
18 and above. You go to normal prison. The other ones you go to like juvenile prison, right? So.
Which is it like also an institution where they stay there?
Yeah. So it is memang prison, but it's a separate block altogether. And by 18 or 21, you're released.
You have to, no matter your crimes.
I think there have been several crimes in Malaysia that shocked the nation, where they were trialed as adults.
Whereas other
crimes by 18, 21, you're out. Yeah. So you're out, zero record on you.
Understand.
So you get to start clean, right? So the idea of Malaysian prisons is always rehabilitation.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what would probably happen to this guy.
Okay, which is 18, and then I mean probably starting from now already the rehabilitation program.
Yeah. So by 18, 21, he's good. He's out of prison. No record whatsoever. That's why you can see in the media nobody has released a picture of him, because by law you're not allowed to. It's the same issue with the Zara case. Nobody is allowed to release the pictures of those who are suspected.
But okay, so see right. We know these images have been circulating in WhatsApp chats. Like even the Zara case, there is a few photos that people are using, man. How come they can use those photos?
So you're not allowed to use it in the media. Social media, we've been spreading it.
Media as in
like proper media,
FMT like that.
Yeah, published media. You're not supposed to.
Which makes you think like, what do you mean by media nowadays? Social media is media also.
Yeah, but formal media you're not allowed to. Because those things come under the Child Protection Act, right? You're supposed to protect the child.
Yeah. So we see a lot of reactions, responses online, netizens commenting. Someone posted. I saw this one in particular. I saw Capri's post. You know the video of him in the tapak Perimpunan.
Okay.
Casually.
Yeah, walking with drinking water, right?
Drinking water, right? That is not. And then now we talk about normal behavior, like what normal for society, I guess most people. To him, he thinks he's normal.
Yes.
Right. So that's why he was behaving so normal.
Yes.
Because he's doing what he want. It's not, what do you call that? Those crimes are impulsive crime. It's not. Is this what you call premeditated?
Yeah, it's premeditated. He prepared it. He packed those knives. He came to school. He knew he was going to target that girl. And he targeted that girl.
Yeah, so this is definitely premeditated, and he was chilled about it after it happened. So I saw Caprice post that video, right? In the comments, bro, there was one post, someone say, bring back rotan. This is the reason why, blah blah. And then there's like a few thousand people like that comment, I'm like, and then people are blaming, shouting at the parents, tagging education ministry. Like it's so easy to put the blame on someone. Yeah. Oh, dude, imagine if you're education minister. This must be hell right now. Gang rape case, your fault. This case stabbing, also your fault. What are your thoughts, man? Do you think rotan is going to solve the problem?
So I'm not against caning, right? And I've been very, very open about it. I said, you cane, so you have to cane with reason, lah. But a few parties now, when we look at cases like this, there are a few parties that I think are more affected than others. One is, of course, the children that were there. This is going to be super traumatizing for them. Schoolmates, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's super traumatized now. Nobody's going to come to school. What's going to happen now? Everybody's going to start trying to weed out somebody else. They're going to be like, hey, the guy's a weirdo. Is he going to come and stab somebody next, right? Or the next thing that's going to happen is they are going to be nice to guys who they've bullied before, right? Or another thing that's going to happen is people are going to start bullying other people even more, right?
Because of fear, there's also a fear aspect. You don't know who is the imposter.
Yes. So, a lot of things are going to be run through, especially with teenagers, right? So that's one. Second are the parents. I cannot even imagine what these girls' parents are going through, right? Innocent girl. This girl didn't even know that the guy liked her, right? He liked her in silence. Imagine she's over there. She's not even knowing why somebody is stabbing her, right? It's crazy. So the parents, not only her parents now, everyone's parents also is worried because they're like, oh no, I've raised my daughter so well. I've raised my child so well. And some random dude just comes to stab them, right? So this school is not safe. Which school is safe? That's the next question. The other one I think a lot of people are blaming but not understanding are the teachers. A lot of them are blaming the teachers. Oh, why y'all didn't protect our kids? Why y'all didn't protect our kids?
You mean at the moment when it's happening?
Not only at the moment, but some would have said what? Oh, I'm sure as a class teacher you would have noticed there must have been some signs, right? Did this kid go for counselling before? Why didn't the counselling teacher report anything? I don't know. But what I do know is that teachers want the best for their students. And I cannot imagine how many teachers are now beating themselves up every day thinking, could I have prevented this? A child died in their school. Imagine the teachers who actually knew this child must be beating themselves up thinking, could I have some way protected this girl?
You know, it's so easy to say that you notice something is off about the child. You know, the truth is, right, there's probably many students like that that someone was just telling me, say like, we were in the conversation talking about social media. So we grew up in a time where our brains were actually, I guess in the 20s, where you start to fully mature emotionally. Your brains just mature in your 20s, early 20s. So we experienced both of it. You know, before that there was computer games, there was WhatsApp phones, but fully immersed in social media, all right. That came only when I'm in my 20s, right? Matured already. For them, right, it's different because they are born. The moment they get a hold of a phone or maybe a computer, they're already inside that world. You know, it's all the time. So I was talking to this person, someone who also listens to the podcast. Then she was saying, like, you know, she works in a hairstyle salon, a hair salon. She says that you'll be surprised, man. Some of the parents, you know, they send their kids, and they, like, you will talk to the children, you know, while you're servicing them, and they are so socially awkward, they cannot respond. Or then when parents come and pick them, you talk to the parents say like, oh, it's just that way, you know, it's shy, because not comfortable with you. So like, it's so easy to say who are the, you know, the teacher should have known, who are the weird ones and all, right? But there's probably many of it, and some of them could be, their character is, they're quiet and all, they do well in their studies, and then graduate, you never see them again, and you don't know, you know, hopefully they go on to be a good adult or whatever.
So a few things actually with what you said. One is that, you know how you said nowadays kids from young, they are already immersed in social media. It's because parents are the one. Don't forget how many parents set up social media accounts for children. Right? So that's another problem. You are the one who's telling your child, hey, you need to be in social media. From young, I've taken photos of you. They set up all these, they start taking photos, they start posting their kids. So their kids have an account which is managed by them. You are setting up your child with social media because, you know, so, and then you cannot say, oh, children are immersed in social media. You are setting them up.
You're saying they set them up. It's not only setting up the account. Even if you don't give them a phone, right, you allow them to use the computer. You can access social media on computers also. So it's like giving them access to a device that has internet, iPad also. You know, they scroll through TikTok, they scroll through Instagram. There's always something that immerses themselves into that, right? They lose track of what the real world is like, and that's what contributes to these kind of things as well, right? So when we look at you know, the psyche of it, whether should the teachers have weeded them out or not, you must understand one thing: parents don't allow teachers to do these kind of things as well. I give you an example. So I've sat down with a lot of teachers. Like you said, you know, the counselors, maybe school counselor, they notice, there are a few weird kids in school, right? To say, which child has a problem like that.
Yeah. So you see, when I sit down with teachers and they always tell me this, Shamir, do you know, if we sometimes even discipline children or tell their parents that, hey, your child is like this, what happens? The parents make a police report against the teacher. So why do I want to go through all this trouble of having to deal with parents first who are in denial that there's something wrong with their child? You know, off podcast we were talking about, you know, how do you expect one teacher to take care of 20 children, 40 children when you yourself cannot take care of, you know, your one child, right? So now the same thing, right? So with 20 students, 30 students in the class, there are going to be some mischievous characters. And when I try to discipline your child, one, you're in total denial. Two, then suddenly you want to take me to the police station over everything. It's going to come to a point, as long as the guy passes and he's out of my class, I'm done.
Because you're a teacher, of course you want the very best for the students, but also, right, you have it in your mind that if I cannot interfere in their personal lives, personal well-being, I focus on my task, my main task, which is try to get them to have good grades.
That's it.
And that's what they can do. So okay, I guess a big this is the most, I think most people will agree, right? A big problem is lack of communication between the parents and the child. Asian culture, right? What type of communication do, let's say in the previous generation, okay? You don't talk back to your parents.
It's top-down communication.
Yes, there's a general in the house.
Yes.
You listen, right? So you don't talk back, and who's to say whether it was totally a bad thing or totally a good thing? But you could imagine that the kid will, he learns to keep things to himself, live a double life, right? You do things at home with your family, eat together, spend some time together. When you're by yourself or with your friends, perhaps you have a different sort of personality. Some people could be very quiet with their family. They're not like that, outside. Yeah. So it's so easy to say blame the parents because he's not there to communicate at all. And maybe to them, right, the child is actually, we don't even know about his grades, whether he's a good student. Did you hear anything about that?
Not so much about that. But I think one thing which was very good was that the brother was in school as well. So because his brother is the one that actually helped subdue him. I think older brother. So the brother came and tried to subdue him from hurting anyone else.
Bro, I did not hear that at all, man.
Yeah, so lucky, right? Maybe the reason why the brother could do it is that maybe respect. He's like, oh, my older brother, I respect. I don't know.
You see, also, if his brother was in that school, right, it also means that the brother staying in the same house as him has no idea about this different side of him. No, it's completely in the unknown, just like the dad. So, okay, then I was hanging out with some friends also, and this is a conversation that naturally came up. Okay, we were in that school, so we sort of imagine like, you can talk more to this but you would think that there's a lot of grown adults there, males also, security guards, all. How come no one was able to do anything earlier? What do you think?
It's easy to say. Okay, so one thing I think a lot of us need to understand also. Okay, I'm not sure if the school has a security guard.
Of course, okay. I went to that school that time also. Not just one. There's at least a couple. Okay, and they are stationed in wherever. Maybe they also ronda.
Okay.
So obviously, when this shit is going down, it's not like they don't know.
But that's the thing. I think first thing people need to understand one thing about security guards. They are not supposed to intervene in a lot of things. They've got very limited power on what they can and cannot do.
Do you know if they are armed?
They are not supposed to be armed. Yeah, no. Especially foreign guards cannot be armed unless you have special licenses. And I think imagine to have a firearm license in a school will be a no-no. Right? What if some student takes the gun and starts shooting people, right? So we cannot expect a lot of guards to be able to do this kind of thing. A lot of people take guards, and this I have to say this lah. You will have incompetent guards because you don't want to pay a proper price for guards. I give you a very simple example. Just say I go to a shopping mall today and I ask the security guard, hey, where is this shop? Right? And the guard doesn't know where the shop is. Now, if there's an emergency, do you think that guard can reach the place in time? No, because he doesn't even know his way around the mall. Right? So just say, they say, oh, in the Let's Get It podcast shop, there is an emergency. Come now. And he's like, oh, I don't know where this is.
He has to go to the directory first.
Yeah, because he's not trained. And because why? Why they don't train him? Because you pay low wages.
So those shopping mall guards, right, is a foreign worker most of the time.
Foreign workers, some are good. Some are very good.
Do they go for any course?
There are basic courses, but depends on the price lah. If you're willing to pay well, your employer is going to train you more. If you're not willing to pay, your employer doesn't train you. I've seen some very good guards. I've seen some terrible guards who gave me directions to a different place.
Who knows? It could be a guard where they're not trained from a third party, but just from the employer. That's all.
If the employer is good, it's good. But yeah, so in this kind of situations, you cannot expect the guard to come and try to sacrifice his life.
Right.
He's already getting pittance. Right? You don't expect him to sacrifice his life for a kid that he doesn't know. Right? The teachers, I'm sure some of them went in and tried to subdue. But again, did you see that knife? It's not a small knife. It's like a Rambo knife,
It is.
Anybody,
6 inches at least.
Yeah, anybody see also they're scared. And one thing you have to understand, when anyone goes amok, they have this insane amount of strength suddenly. Somebody as scrawny as him could probably take down 3-4 people.
I mean, with a knife lah, of course.
Without a knife also. Suddenly he's just running amok like that. He suddenly gets this strength that comes out of nowhere, right? So someone of your size also, you might not be able to take him down.
I mean, with a you see, right? So I don't know. Let's say
Remember you had the fighters over here, right? The first thing they say,
run. Yes.
Yeah. And these guys are trained to fight.
Yeah. They told one of the boxers, really good guy. So he also told me, anyone has a parang, run. Yeah. But I would think in that let's say if those fighters were there in that situation, maybe they would feel forced to, they have to do something.
Maybe.
Yeah. So if they were to do something, one thing is for sure lah. They have to accept the fact, if they want to do it, that someone is going to get stabbed. Someone has to get stabbed to disarm the guy.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to be trying to do. Most likely they'll be successful, but someone's going to get stabbed.
I'll give you a very good example, Brian.
Remember I sent you the video.
Which one?
These two robbers climbed in to a house, right, with parangs, long parang. We're not talking 6 inch, Parang. How long is a parang? 2 feet? It's fucking long. 2 robbers with a parang versus 2 unarmed men.
Oh, I think I remember
the 2 unarmed men won.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this that kid, that 14-year-old kid, is way scarier than the 2 men with the parang.
Yeah.
Because the 2 men with the parang did not jump into the house
to kill someone.
They
jumped in to rob.
Apart from the fact that they're probably not as, I would say, agile and athletic as a 14-year-old kid. He's a slender dude, man.
Yep.
He's fast.
Yeah.
They wanted to rob the house.
Yep.
So in that video, right, it showed everything, man. They slowly disarmed and beat up the robbers. Robbers chowed. Yeah. You were saying? Sorry, I cut you off.
I've seen a video of this happening. A child was getting bitten by a dog, right? Just a dog. But all these adults around was scared. They're just taking the stick from far, hitting. Nobody is going and pulling the dog away. Everybody is scared.
It's a China video, right?
No, in Malaysia. It's in Malaysia. I can't remember. Where was it? Very pitiful. The dog attacked this boy. Everyone is scared. And this is just a dog. Imagine a boy with a knife.
No, but what happened in that video?
After a while, the dog let go lah.
Bro,
right?
I saw a video from China. The exact same thing.
Okay.
The toddler is 2-year-old maybe.
Oh, shit.
Maybe less than 2. The type where they are barely walking. Right. The pit bull came. Started wrecking. It was a long attack, man. At least 1-2 minutes like that. And then guys, grown men with sticks and all,
hitting the dog.
They trying to hit the dog. The child died. He died, man, in the video.
It's crazy.
So it's crazy, and there were so many adults, bro. You can say 10, including the females, all there.
Yeah. Nobody dares put the hand in the dog's mouth.
You have to, right? I mean, that's the only.
If it's your child, lah. If it's not your child.
And if you don't put your hand in the dog's mouth, you need to stab it already.
Yeah.
And then no one has a knife. Everyone's using sticks or. It's 2 minutes, lah, bro. How can you go even get a knife in 2 minutes?
So just imagine, like, so coming back to this, right? It's just right. Even a dog, people are scared. Imagine a guy with a knife. That's why everybody ran, right? Nobody's going to come and help.
He was chasing the pengetua also, the headmaster.
Somebody mentioned chasing some other students, but you can see after he killed her, he just casually came out, drank water, and you can see when you look at it, it's memang like, okay, game mission mode kind of thing, right? Okay, done already. Now refill mana. Let's go. Right? And then go out and try to do that to more people.
The students were having their exams, apparently. I
thought you said graduation earlier.
No, graduation for Form 5s. Younger students, the lower forms were having their exams. Yeah. So coming back to the note, right? The note that he was that he wrote, right? He said something like, I will win. This world is wrong. I am right. Everyone in the school is an NPC. You know what's an NPC? NPC. Basically, they are robots. They are the people that you buy items from in the shop. They're not the main character. He is like
he's the main character, right?
Yeah. You yourself also played video games and all, right? Not trying to blame it directly on video games or even movies. Okay, films about anti-heroes.
Yeah,
that's a thing right now. The villain is now what do you call that, glorified. Yeah. So
because that sells better.
Me versus the rest of the world, sort of plot. So that's obviously something in his mind also. And he there was a quote from the note also that he mentioned 0 Day. Yes. Do you actually watch that show?
I didn't watch 0 Day, but I know what it means, right? All these anime characters.
No.
Is an anime Isn't Zero Day an anime as well?
No, that's a different.
Oh, sorry.
A different Zero. This
That's
Zero
a different-
anime. I can't
okay.
remember what's the name of that one now. But I just quickly searched it up lah. So, you know what? Let me just search it up now. So it's okay. Yeah, okay.
Zero Day.
Yeah. Okay. So Zero Day. Zero Day was a indie film. These two high school kids, misfits from a small town in America, harbored hatred of their high school. That they so much that they came up with a plan of attack called Zero Day. As the days count down, they record their preparations in video diaries, hoping to achieve fame. And after their demise, when Zero Day arrives, the two boys drove to school with trunks of ammunition and take aim. So the film is based on the Columbine High School massacre.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, so Columbine was actually one of the more significant school shootings. And bro, I tell you, I thought about this immediately, okay, which is very fucked up to say, but I think we're gonna see more and more of this in the near future if nothing is done.
I agree with you because what's interesting is that you would think with all the cases that's happening and all the attention on bullying and this kind of things, you would think the number of cases will be dropping. You think parents will be a bit more cautious, children will be a bit more cautious, teachers are a bit more cautious, military is a bit more cautious, but the numbers are going up. And here's like what you said, right? Why this one was very interesting or very shocking is because he stabbed her to death. He came prepared to stab. It wasn't that, me and Brian, you're having an argument, I'm angry, I'm going to take the knife and stab you. No.
It's premeditated.
It's premeditated. He went there with an intention to kill her.
If you're shooting someone, right,
It's less personal.
Bro, no, only less personal is, bro, I'm a bitch, man.
Yeah.
I won't even dare to hurt an animal apart from an ant, To stab someone to death with 14-year-old is scary, man.
Very good thing. So, when we speak to people who shoot people and we speak to people who stab people, there is a whole different level of psyche.
Do they agree to that as well?
Yes, because to shoot somebody, I don't feel it. I'm just from far, I'm shooting a weapon, it kills you.
Yeah.
When I stab you, I get to feel the knife going through you.
Everything.
I'm taking your life away. Okay? Same thing with the case in Seremban with the boy that they choked. They choked a boy to death. Do you know what kind of sick you must be to be able to hold someone's neck and see his life go away? It's crazy. That means you're literally holding the fellow's life in your hand and you're saying, I'm not stopping until I see it go away.
Can you tell me about this case? I didn't hear.
Okay,
Seremban.
so there was this case in Seremban. They found a 10-year-old boy dead in the toilet when they in the school toilet.
Seremban,
Yeah.
fuck, man.
And this one was terrible for the school because it was the second death in a week.
In the school?
In the school. The first death was somebody fell through a manhole.
It's an accident.
And that one accident. Right? This one, suddenly a few days later, imagine they find a boy strangled to death in the toilet. Right? Until now, they have not caught anyone. Right? But imagine a 10-year-old boy. They strangled him and left and let his life go. Held him down until his life was no more. The level of humanity that this person doesn't have is crazy.
Yeah. Let's talk more about the psychology
Yeah.
of criminal minds. So just now I was talking about Ed Gaines,
Yeah.
right? For people that don't know, Ed Gaines, right? He was actually the inspiration for the first ever psychological thriller film. Do you know what, Hansen?
Okay.
Fuck my train of thought. Okay. You know the film
Yep.
Psycho, right?
Okay. The one, the Christian Bale one.
Oh no, that's American Psycho.
Oh, American Psycho.
1960s, a film called Psycho. The what do you call that? The most iconic scene, which is the lady in the shower is black and white, and the murderer comes up behind and stabs her. Okay. So why I say it's the first ever psychological thriller, and the inspiration behind that film was Ed Gaines, because in the film, right, you saw crazy things like this loner type of character stayed in this house with his mom, okay, and it turns out the mom is actually a dead body. He's that type of creep, you know. Maybe there was grave robbing involved.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's it started to emphasize and explore the psychology of how these criminals they become twisted, right? Before that, we saw films like Dracula,
Yep.
Frankenstein.
Yep.
I think The Blob was also something like it's more of just the monster appears and wow, you're scary.
Fiction.
Yes, fiction. So Ed Gaines, right? The reason why his case was so it shocked the world. When they arrested him, he had only a couple of murders, and then now it's like been romanticized until you see films like wow, I killed 10 people, everything all, you know. But when they went into his house, right, they found furnitures, objects made from human skin. Okay, so if you guys know the movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the person is the dude with the chainsaw. I can't remember what's his name. He's running around with a mask, and the mask is made from human flesh. So these are all inspired. So something that I think we should talk about loneliness. Yeah, you think that's a big factor in how this criminal minds, serial killers in particular.
Okay, so it's not so much of loneliness, but also isolation. But also is the fact of the disconnect from humanity that they go through. So what happens with these guys is that they are led to believe that, or in their mind, the world seems different from ours, right? And so that's why their reality is different from our reality. We look at things a certain way, they look at things a certain. We can be looking at the same thing. You can be looking at my baju, I see white, you see blue, right? But to them, that's true, right? So, for example, this Ed Gaines thing, his mom is there dead. He probably thinks he's talking to his mother every day.
Yeah, definitely, right? He was.
So, in their mind, that's the truth. The crazy thing about the mind is that it's true to you. It's true to you, right? And no matter what people say, sometimes, if your mind chooses not to accept that reality, that is your reality. So, that's the crazy thing about the mind. You and me could be talking about the same thing. We can be looking at the same thing. But how you view it is very different from how I view it. So, the same thing when he talks about, it's not that these guys are lonely. It's that that loneliness has led them to have some sort of mental illusion that they think is real.
And the reason why is because there is no reality check from socializing.
Yep.
If you're hanging out in a crowd, right, with a bunch of people lepak, and then you start telling them like, what's that? Jeffrey Dahmer, right? So Jeffrey Dahmer case, just now you're talking about strangling a boy, right?
Yep.
How can any humane person be able to do commit such an act? Jeffrey Dahmer was I can't remember what's the reason why he when he was young he was experimenting with animals, killing animals, dissecting them. I think it's something like the father introduced, or he was observing while his father did something like that. The father was maybe that was to cook lah. The father's not a murderer or whatever. But something even more interesting. Jeffrey Dahmer, after he got caught and all, he went to prison, right? The father mentioned that he admitted that he had a lot of all these same thoughts as his son did. Yeah, he just never
he just never acted on it. Yeah, and Jeffrey Dahmer did.
Yeah,
and that's the crazy thing about when it comes to people who kill red killers and all, is that their sense of what's justice is different from ours, right? And you know, in this case as well, is crazy, right? Imagine strangling a boy. Imagine stabbing a girl to death. We've had many school stabbings, right? But it's just like, okay, out of anger, I stab you, done. Nobody dies. This was shocking because somebody died.
Just now also you say like, we were talking about, I said that I think we're going to see more and more of this. Yeah. Well, if we trust in history, right, that should. So imagine, we've seen cases like this where a boy who's outcasted by society, right, and then he wants to rise up revenge, and then try to get revenge, his own sort of revenge. We've seen this in other countries, or we've never seen it in Malaysia.
We've never seen it in Malaysia.
Never. So imagine this story might inspire some other lost kid or someone who's an outcast of society. Maybe that person was had no idea of other cases internationally, this one's gonna this news is definitely gonna hit most Malaysians, man.
It will be like what we were talking about, right? I think it's just case after case after case. First started with the Zara case that really shook the country.
But bro, also right, the bully case, and this case is actually very, very different.
Okay, this is not a bully case. This is not a bully case at all. We have to be very clear. This case of this girl being stabbed is not a bully case, right? It's just a guy that went crazy and went and stabbed somebody, right? So, but that's the thing, right? When we talk about the cases, Zara's case, shocked the whole country, and then after that, you've got case after case after case. The 10-year-old boy getting strangled, the girl getting tied up in the bathroom, in the toilet, and being left there in Kedah. When is this going to stop? Or what does it take to make it stop? Like what you said, the last thing we'll want is these kind of things to inspire somebody to.
So let me ask what can be done? What reforms need to be made in terms of the schooling system, or what can our education ministry, what can they do? Like, do you have any ideas or suggestions?
I think a few things would be, one is that I always believe reform starts at home. You cannot be expecting the school to do everything that you cannot do, right? So it starts at home. And then second, I think a lot of things need to be looked into, especially curriculum for teachers, on how do they address certain things. A lot of teachers are there to only teach your kids how to score well. They are not taught on how to handle a child that's going through depression. They're not taught on how to investigate if a bullying case has been happening. Bullying is very ingrained in our culture. That's one thing I think a lot of people have to. You might not like what I say, but it's true. It's ingrained in our culture, right? It is, right? We like to say, oh no, there's no bullying happen. No, it's part of our culture. You ask any kid that went to asrama if he was bullied or not. If he says no, he was the bully. There's only one of the two, right? So same thing. First time where I would say I really experienced bullying.
Did you go to asrama? You did,
right? I went to university and I was staying in the hostels. So my hostel.
Is it the school hostel?
Yes, the school was for university. So I stayed in campus.
But what's the difference, boarding school and you staying in a
So boarding school starts from primary school, secondary school. Mine was university level. So we have a bit more freedom lah.
Oh, okay.
And ours 2 maximum 4 people to a room. Asrama, you've got quite a few people in a room.
It's like what you see lah, the bunk beds.
Bunk beds and all lah. So ours was not like that, right? University level's a bit different. But nonetheless, the first time I won't say school bullying here and there, it didn't really bother me much. But the first time I really experienced it was in the university, right? Suddenly seniors ragging the juniors. I'm a junior and I don't know what's going on. Oh my God, is this what bullying looks like, right?
Really?
Yeah. Suddenly I'm getting bullied.
You are on the end of it also.
I was a junior, so I was on the end of it.
But what sort of ragging are we talking about lah? Is it the...
So the good thing... Okay, I'm not going to say the good thing. For us, it never got physical. It never got to a point where they physically touch you. But it's mental. They hold you up to like 5, 6 in the morning. Next day you got class. You lose sleep. You lose track of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You kena also?
I kena.
How do they make you all stay up?
Every day we have to go clock into the seniors' room. So you have to go knock the door. Okay, hi, I'm here, this thing. They'll make you do stupid stuff there lah.
Oh, it's literally like the general lah. They are the...
Yeah. The seniors are the ones that control everything lah.
What if you say no?
Okay, so if I say no, I'm considered anti-ragging. And here's what happens. You get isolated. So they will not help you at all. So that was what ragging was like at university. They'll be like, oh, you don't want to be part of this? I'm not going to bother about you. No senior is going to talk to you. No junior. If you're pro-ragging, all of you are pro, don't talk to him. So you get isolated.
So let me ask you lah, what about the teachers and staffs there? Because as you mentioned, I've never been to boarding school.
Yep.
It seems like this is something so normal. Like it's sort of like the rules
generational.
It's sort of like the rules of boarding school. Yep. What do the teachers say about it?
It's like alamak sikit ni, alamak bukannya dia pukul kamu pun, apa nak complain?
Yeah. So obviously, if your teachers are then do you think if it were to get physical, your teachers would have stepped in? So
I think that's why they never got physical, because to get into university is not easy. Government university, right? It's not easy for us to get into university. And I think they know that the minute I physically touch you, I'm going to get thrown out of university. So they were very careful about that. But physical, but mental. Like I tell you, the dumbest thing that I was asked to do, but which annoyed me the most, and I had to stand in the room, and they told me, okay, Shamir, blow off the fluorescent tube, the light, your fluorescent light. Stand here, blow until it goes off. So I was like, how can? If I say it's possible, it's possible. The senior, do it. So I stand Then after that, like, no, you're not putting effort into it. Do it properly. Then I'm like, look, cannot.
Are they all laughing?
They're all laughing lah. So I was like, cannot lah. It's funny for them lah. Then they say, you see, come, I will do it. And then the guy, he's sitting on the bed, he blows. And then his friend turns off the light. And then he's like, you see, I do can. Why you do cannot? Wow. So they then it's like, stupid stuff lah. But then I had to stand there 1 hour, just blow. Until they get bored of it, they find it not funny anymore. Then they go on to the next thing.
Yeah, toy.
Yeah. And then what happens there is they just scold you and scold you and scold you. So mentally, if you don't start being resilient or you don't build that toughness, it gets you. So I had batchmates who like, no, I want to quit. I want to go back home. I don't want to study
anymore. Did they
anymore.
actually go back home?
So I would say as much as my seniors bullied, when it came to education, they took care of everyone. So the minute somebody said, I want to quit, they went, they sat down and they took care of him like he's their younger brother. Like, nobody touches him, nobody disturbs him. They will buy for him food, everything they did for them.
Like, hey, okay lah, sorry for everything.
Yeah.
You know, don't leave, if not we get in trouble.
Not so much of that. they how they turned it around and said, look, you know how difficult is it for you to get into university? Why would you want to give this away? Is it because we were bullying you? Fine, we will stop. Don't leave. So they actually a lot of care and concern. But it was just a culture where to them also they were bullied by their seniors. So they're like, now I'm going to do it to my juniors. It was the culture. Not that they didn't like them, just culture.
So now that you explain it that way, right, it's more of like they literally want to build calluses in the juniors. Want to make them tougher. It's exactly like the military.
It is.
If you go into the military and you tell someone and you tell them that, hey man, this is not the way it should be. You shouldn't bully the new people, new cadets all. They're like, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
We are going to war. We're going to shoot and fight for our lives.
Yeah.
So now I'll ask you lah. Do you think, like, no matter how mild it is, do you think it should exist in?
Okay. If you ask me,
I feel like cannot, man.
So I've been on the receiving end of it, right? There were advantages and disadvantages, I would say. The one big thing I think that has helped me is that because of the amount of scolding I got from my seniors, right, the bad words they use, how they scold me, I don't get upset easily nowadays because I think how people scold me as well, it cannot be as bad as that. So when I first came into the workforce, my boss scolded me once for something I did. I made a mistake. He scolded me. And I was cool as a cucumber. I'm just looking at it and say, yeah, actually, no, it's true. I made a mistake. I do apologize. And he got upset because I was so cool about that thing, right? He's scolding me, so angry. And I'm so calm about it. And then after he told my supervisor, what's wrong with this fella?
Yeah.
Then my supervisor came to me. He's scolding you like, why you no effect? I said, no, I've gotten worse scolding before. Right? But the downside to the whole thing, and which I never agreed with what my seniors did as well, is that there was that sense of enjoyment when they did it. Right? So I was when I was a senior, I never really ragged my juniors, right? And then I would say, okay, come, you sit down, you talk. Okay, after we eat, you go wash all my plates, that kind of thing, right? So it's very mild stuff. But I never made it to a sense where I enjoy seeing you get hurt or, you're being put in such a position. So that's the part where I don't agree. What I do think is people need to toughen up. It works both ways, huh? Yeah. One is that bullies toughen up so that they don't bully people, right? When people bully people, it's always due to a sense of insecurity in themselves as well, right? They find the need to berate other people because they probably are not at that level.
Right? Yeah. That's why it's kind of like impossible for that system to actually vanish, like the ragging system. It would never ever go away.
As long as we allow it, it's part of culture. People like mind something like tapa lah, sikit je, it's okay.
You know, you say pros and cons. Being able to take scolding, right, or teasing. I talk about this so many times. In primary school, also I get bullied by my other friends, smaller than me. They're all much smaller. I was so tall.
And you got bullied.
Bro, I was 12 years old. I was this height.
Oh,
it's the type of, I would never want to hurt my friends.
Yeah.
There was one time where they got physical. I still remember, man. You won't forget this sort of things, man. Because usually just, dude, imagine you're a kid, right? You go to school, and today they're like, we are not being friends with Brian today. You feel the 6 hours or 8 hours you're in school. I don't even know how long you're in school. 8 hours you're in school. You feel like hell, man, because no one is talking to you. And they're all laughing. They're hanging out. Yeah, you stupid back now. But because of that, right, I I really went to high school I didn't care if my friends all make fun of me. I cannot be fucked. I don't have any, some people have a shorter fuse, right?
Yeah.
My fuse is so long, bro.
Yeah.
But I remember in primary school,
What they call you, Panjang?
tall fuck. I can't remember what else.
What kind of language you're using?
Yeah,
in primary
they
school?
just it's so weird, right? You can be the bigger guy and they bully you because you're the bigger guy.
Yeah.
So one time I remember there was like 4 or 5 of them started getting physical. It's so we're like apes, really like apes like that. Just become tribal, and then they start pushing me to the corner, and I was so big. 4 of them, I pushed all of them out. I never hurt them, but I showed them like, hey man, 4 of y'all, you're all tiny. I can still whack all of y'all. Yeah, but after I did that, they never got physical.
So I'm going to ask you a question then, right? From your opinion. So in secondary school, I wouldn't say I got bullied in secondary school. I had 2 brothers, elder brothers in secondary school. Shout out to Aaron and Eric. So they looked out for me in school.
Wait, real elder brothers?
No, my friends lah, but bros lah. They like I'm family to them lah, right? So Aaron was my age. Eric was his elder brother, but I'm like the younger brother there lah, among the 3. So nobody messed with me because of these 2 boys, right? They always looked out for me, so I didn't really need to worry. Right, I share these stories. This story normally I shared it during this guy's wedding, and here's how he looked out for me. One of the situations, somebody had a misunderstanding with me, and he said, "You wait, after school I will see you." Right, boys' school lah.
Yeah,
right?
Normal, very normal.
And then after school, I'm like, alamak, this guy's going to come and beat me up and all, right? And then he never came. This guy never came. He never came look for me. Some months after that, okay, all friends already, we start talking to each other. Then I asked, hey, the day you said you were going to come and see me, why you didn't come? He said, oh, you don't know what happened. I said, no, I don't know what happened. He said, during lunch, during lunch break, Aaron and his friends came. I said, I was the younger brother to this guy, right? He came with his bunch of friends and said, I heard you had an argument with Shamir. He's like, yeah, I heard you said you're going to see him after school. I said, yeah. Said, if anything happens to him, you answer to us, right? So this guy, one guy, and this fella brought a few fellas with him, right? And then the guy left it lah. But he never said a word to me, never came and told me, hey Shamir, I've got this all sorted out for you. So I never really worried because these 2 guys, my 2 older brothers were there with me in school, right? So, but you see, because I had that, I was never really bullied. Now the question is, if I didn't have that, would I have gotten bullied, right? And
you would have.
Yeah, at what level would you have been, right? And some more, normal lah, Indian fella in school, you always get called something lah, right? Even up to now, people think I'm a criminal, right? Right? So, the same thing. Your case is interesting. You're the tallest guy there. You're the biggest guy there. Instead of people being scared, you are the victim of bullying.
It shows you how stupid kids are lah, and how immature. Okay, they just make fun of what is not normal to them.
True.
Which is me being the outlier.
Yeah, but you see what's interesting is this, right? Is that we talk about it today like it's normal. It's normal behavior. Like, boys' school lah, what the heck you expect?
It is. That's why
we have normalized bullying lah.
We have. And I'm guilty of it. And exactly, it's like also hypocritical for me to talk about how I don't think the ragging thing should work. But I had past experiences like that, and I also can vouch for having gained something from it. So I think this topic has been going on for centuries. And a millennium, sorry.
I think those watching this podcast, please, if you've ever been a victim and either it's impacted you in some way or either positive or negative, I think we would love to read about it and hear, and it'll be interesting. I think this is a very interesting subject for people to debate about, actually.
Just now, okay, let's go back to just now. I asked you about what can be done from the education ministry side and the schooling system. I think you mentioned starts from home.
Yep.
And then after that we got lost.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So the second part is, of course, when we look into the schooling system, right? Okay, we say it starts from home. Second, schooling system. There's a lot of limitations on what teachers can. So
sorry, before. So on the actually, just to add on to from you saying it starts from home, right?
Yep.
Everything, bro, starts from there. Like, if the home thing is settled, your school, no matter how not well equipped or how good the system is, something like this would never lead into something like that if from home everything is good. You know, So it's just easy to put the blame on the school because it happened in the school.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
True. And the second, I think, when it comes to teachers, like I said, there are a lot of limitations put on teachers on what they can and cannot do. That's one. Second is also due to what limitations parents put on teachers, right? I have a buddy of mine, total opposite of what most parents are. He went and told the teachers, if my son is naughty, please cane him. If you don't cane him, if he's naughty, I'm going to cane you. So nowadays you don't see parents like that. They don't want teachers to cane, right? So there's a lot of limitation. You've had Samuel Isaiah here previously. He spoke about how as a teacher he wants to make sure children achieve. He wants to make sure children achieve greatness, right? But even he had to go through struggles, and he was not even disciplining kids. He was just trying to educate kids, right? So imagine the limitations which are put when it comes to trying to discipline a child, which is needed. No discipline, like the old saying goes, spare the rod, spoil the child, right? So of course I'm not saying physically rotan the kid lah, but okay,
what about caning?
What about caning? So here's the circular by the ministry on how teachers can and cannot cane. Only the headmaster or headmistress can cane a student, and only by written consent can they appoint another teacher to do the caning.
Sorry, you're talking about this is actually what is implemented already.
Yes. Okay. This is circular by the government.
Oh, how was this? Has this been this been the system for a while?
Yes, for I think since 2005, 2013, somewhere around there, right? 2005, 2010, right? So only by written consent can a teacher just say, now I headmaster, I appoint you, Brian. Okay, you can cane another student, but because you're an appointee by me, if you're caning somebody, you need a witness. You need another teacher as a witness. So just say now you happen to do your rounds as the guru. Suddenly you see somebody naughty. Before you can cane him, you call another teacher to cane. Right? That's one. But of course, the good thing is they said you can only cane the palm and the buttocks. That's the good thing. The other thing about this whole thing is that caning can only be done for boys. You cannot cane a girl. Right? So again, you want to discipline children. I understand there should be this thing, but there should be some check and balance lah. Why is it that boys only can everything but girls don't can anything, right?
So people saying in the comments, bring back rotan, they have no fucking idea what's actually happening. I mean, actually you can rotan.
You can. But it's not easy. But the minute you rotan, parents only bring you to the police station.
So what they are actually saying, when people are saying bring back rotan, they're probably expecting like, this teacher, don't like this kid, slap him or just take the ruler, the long ruler, straight whack. Yeah.
One thing was very interesting. Dr. Jason Leong, the comedian, he just released a new
something in the garden.
A new comedy special, right?
Yeah.
He was a senior in my school. So he spoke about a very specific teacher. He was a senior. Bukit Bintang. We all went to Bukit Bintang, right? We're 1 year older. So he spoke about a teacher called Mr. Agis. If that same teacher is teaching today, you have no idea the amount of police cases which have been piled up for him, right? We were in a boys' school. Rowdy fellas. He will hold fellas by the collar and say, you talk back to me now. I challenge you, right? Scrawny guy, like how you are the tall fella, the small kids bullied you. He's the small kid there and he will hold you by the collar, right? So the other day when I was watching Dr. Jason's special, I was like, oh my God, all of us remember this, how this guy, everybody feared him. And one thing he said was true. It's because they feared him, but he knew how to mingle with the boys for them to respect him. So everyone respected him. As much as he will slap you today, he will rotan people. But tomorrow he'll come and talk to you like he's your good friend. So nobody harbored any hatred towards him. So I think among most teachers, he did it right. He will cane you, right? The naughty fellows from Bukit Bintang will all remember the caning they got from him. But they will also go and say the nicest things about him.
Did he ever get physical with his hands or what?
No. But we've seen him hold people in the collar lah.
Yeah, okay.
But he never punched
them.
the guy. He never strike them. Right? He just say, come lah. Because
you cannot punch students, man.
You cannot punch students. But you'll take the cane lah and you'll hold it up, right? So, but that was probably what was needed back then, right? The boys were rowdy. And I don't think anybody else would have respected anybody else. So, yeah, he walk in, everybody is silent.
Okay, so another thing that also has been popping up, CCTVs.
Okay.
And also spot checks, bro. What do you think about I don't think it's called spot checks, but just checks in general from entering the school?
How do you regulate this? That's one problem, right? You expect everybody to go through a metal detector.
They do that in some schools in America, right?
There are belts with knives you can buy now that will bypass metal detectors. You know, you can hide a knife in your belt, and you can buy that online, and it bypasses metal detectors. So how do you then check that?
And then when you say spot check, if you're just checking the bag, right?
Yeah.
They can put it in your pants.
Yeah, true. And let's just say you scan the bag, right? Imagine you got how many 100 students coming. Let's just say you scan every bag that goes through for metal. Some people bring water bottle metal, pencil box metal. You know, I bring my nice water bottle and all.
if they were to do a pat down also, right?
Cannot. Then suddenly sexual harassment.
Yeah, sexual harassment. Then they say, okay, girls are exempted. What if the girl helped the gangster smuggle the thing inside?
Yeah, true. So
it's complicated.
So spot checks are good from time to time, right? Maybe should be more regular. Okay, the prefects do the spot check. You know, I remember once actually in one of the schools, one of the teachers were telling me, lucky they did a spot check that day. Somebody brought an axe to school.
What the
axe
fuck?
But that boy didn't probably bring the axe to hurt anybody. To axe somebody. He brought it for his Kamaira and Hidop class. He wanted to do something, right? For some woodworking stuff. So his mangat brought an axe to school.
Yeah.
Pure intention, wrong tool he brought, right?
So, I mean, people are so quick to say spot checks, all right, because if so happened, you know, by chance the teacher suddenly said, okay, everyone check their bags now.
Yeah.
They could have took all his items. They could have.
But again, right, this is such an isolated incident. They could have been, somebody should have, would have, could have, right?
Yeah.
But coming back to it, spot checks, yes, I think still should be kept. CCTVs, okay, there's always this debate about CCTVs. How effective is it?
Right.
CCTVs, could it have prevented something like this? No. Definitely not. No way.
Like not only that, right? How could the CCTV could have actually helped anything?
No, nothing. But could CCTV probably have helped catch the person who strangled a 10-year-old boy? Yes.
Yeah, understand.
Right? Because, so that's the thing. And one thing which is good about CCTVs is that now that I put it around, people are going to be a bit more cautious about bullying. So just say for now, I can tell Brian's been bullying me in school. Then Brian, you have good grades. You've been a model student in front of teachers. You go and tell teacher, no lah teacher, that day, as I was walking, I accidentally just tripped and I accidentally bumped into him. He fell down. I didn't push him. But in reality, you pushed me down. Or maybe you kicked me. But it's your word against mine. Now, at least with CCTV, we can see exactly what happened. That's why in Sekolah Asrama, it's weird. It's been 50 years. And why only now are we putting CCTVs in school? And what is that? We've got 10,000 registered schools in Malaysia. Only 200 schools are being fitted with CCTV with a 3 million ringgit budget.
Yeah, I saw that one. How many again, sorry?
200 schools?
Yes.
3 million ringgit budget, which means that one school about 15,000.
Is this boarding school only?
Only boarding school for now.
How many boarding schools we have in Malaysia?
There are quite a few. Right?
Okay.
So that's the problem, right? We allocate 3 million, but after so long, after so many cases, and 15,000, how many cameras can you put in such a big school? Where are you going to put? What if, like that Zara case, right? They throw it down from a certain part. What if that part got no CCTV? Right?
Yeah.
15,000 is nothing for a school to put CCTV.
The Zara case, there was no CCTV.
There was one. There was a leaked footage of them actually carrying her and walking somewhere. Right? But beyond that, nothing more.
Don't know whether you can talk about this, but what do you think actually happened, man, the Zara case?
Oh, actually, in all honesty, because of how hush-hush the thing has been, even I don't know the details of it. Right? Nothing has come out. But my question has always been this as well, right? They try to hide it.
You think they have, right? That's very obvious.
That's very obvious, right? They try to hide it, not hush it. Now the question is, why is there no accountability? What happened to the headmistress of that school? From what I heard, she just got transferred. No job cut, no loss, nothing. She just got transferred to admin in somewhere else because she cannot be in that school. Right? So, where's the accountability over there?
It kind of reminds me of the priest having...
Yeah. That movie Spotlight. A Spotlight. That's the one, right? When they did this expose that when the priest did something, then they just transferred him to a different parish and all that. Yeah. So
there was one. The priest was already guilty of molesting all of his the children in his church. Transferred him to a church in, I think, in one African country, and the church is for disabled kids, blind and deaf, something deaf like that. Like, holy shit.
Crazy shit. But yeah, talking about this.
yeah, the like if you're talking about the Bandar Utama stabbing case, right?
No.
The CCTV would have done nothing.
Absolutely nothing. CCTV on the long run can help reduce bullying cases. I totally agree with that. Can it stop these kind of things? Absolutely not.
And that is what makes this case so fucking crazy, and why everyone is talking about this right now. So I don't know, man. I'm also struggling to think, man. What if people are pressuring the education ministry, all teachers, parents. I think parents is the only. I would say that makes the most sense to put the blame on because it has to be from.
Well, I've sat down with a lot of juvies, right? And I can understand why parents might not suspect that their children are capable of this kind of things. I've sat down with some juvies, and when we talk to them, they're like the nicest people ever.
What sort of crimes?
So one kid spoke to him, spoke excellent English, carried himself very well, very respectful when he spoke to me. As I was talking, I get to know him. Then finally, when I got him to just share with me what happened, this guy was a murderer, right? And I would have never expected. I always tell people, I remember this boy because to me, when he said it, it caught me off guard because of how well he carried himself. If I had seen this boy's parents outside and I didn't know that this guy did this, maybe if I saw this boy outside and I saw his parents, I would have told, wow, you've raised your son so well, right? But the fact that he was in prison and I found this out, I was like, oh my God, I would have never guessed. So I can understand why his parents wouldn't have known.
Just my curiosity, what do you know the details of his crime?
Yeah, he was paid a certain amount to go and stab somebody.
Oh, it's a sort of gang thing.
Yeah, something like that. So he was paid a certain amount to go and stab somebody. He did it. But you would never think this boy would be capable of doing that, right? So I can understand why parents don't know that their child. Even if you ask me, did this boy's parents know? They probably wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
And they probably thought, my son's he's a bit of a loner. He's antisocial. He just likes playing video games. That's what hypes him up. Once in a while, he uses terms which they don't understand. Right? That's what they would have thought.
And I was just thinking about this. So you say the boy will definitely be in juvie until 18.
Yep.
Right? There will be visitation, of course, from parents and all. I was thinking, right? Imagine the boy coming out of prison. I mean juvie. And staying with the family. Imagine if you're the parent.
Yeah.
Like,
you also will be scared.
Like apart from hiding all the kitchen knives and all, that's gonna do nothing much, man, for your safety. I mean for your, what do you call it? Your fear.
Don't forget about that boy in Ipoh.
I don't know.
There was this boy in Ipoh who went back home, stabbed his brother and stabbed his mother.
Why?
Right?
No, from where? Like what?
Stress. I'm not sure what were the details, but let's look it up after this. He stabbed his brother, stabbed his mother, and then he called the police to act like somebody broke in and stabbed. Then they found out actually it was him.
Shit, man, I think I actually saw this case.
He stabbed his younger brother and stabbed his mother to death.
Yeah, I think I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah. But the only difference is it didn't happen in school. Same thing, schoolboy. Right?
He's just stressed. He just couldn't take it anymore.
Couldn't take the pressure. Yeah, but also maybe something just off in his head. Like we spoke about this earlier, right? To stab somebody, the psychological, the thing that you go through psychologically is crazy. You feel the knife penetrating.
Yeah. It's been, I can tell you, like if they want to, if they stab, people saw the picture of that boy, right? They thought they say like, oh, he's in a daze like that. They thought, it would be so much easier. This whole case would have been so much simpler to make sense of if there was drugs involved.
Yeah.
So much simpler. But somehow when they said Bandar Utama, right, I just thought like I don't. It's not very high chance that these kids are exposed to this type of dark side.
You'll be surprised at how early kids are exposed to drugs nowadays.
I don't know.
Your time, my time, different lah.
I don't know.
Your time, my time, recreational drugs to reachers would be very difficult lah.
I heard the pil kuda thing is crazy lah. Yeah.
You have it lah, right? So you have this kind of things, right? But oh man, this kind of incidences, of course, really it's I just lost for words.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay, bro. Last question now. Okay, dude. Do you think all of us are humans? Just all of us are capable of evil?
Yes, we are. It's just that whether we we choose to act on it or not, right? So everyone's capable of anything, right? So if I were to put it to you, if you saw your mother getting stabbed today, would you rush in and stab the person stabbing your mother?
Yeah,
You would.
I would like to think I would definitely do
You
that,
would like to think that you could do that, right?
But
So,
is that considered evil?
okay, but you're still killing a person. What gives you the right to take somebody else's life away? To some people, that's evil, right?
You're right.
So everyone has the capacity to do something when they are pushed to the limit. It's whether we choose to act on it or not, right? So it all comes down to that. Okay, let's just say I give you another scenario, right? If somebody comes and holds a knife to your mother's neck and says, I will kill your mother unless you go and you kill Hansen, for example, will you go and kill Hansen?
Sorry, man.
Yeah. No, but yeah,
Yeah,
because you love your mother more, right? You will go and kill Hansen because Hansen's your friend. Your mother is your mother.
Yeah.
So same thing. Everybody. But okay, now the question is that evil or not? You have now made a decision to take somebody's life just to save your mother's.
So that term evil also is so hard to actually
So
properly
hard to-
define.
yeah, properly define.
What about, let me put it this way, what about commit evil without being forced to in that sort of scenario? Do you think we're all capable of that?
Oh, okay. I think we are, but everybody's definition of evil is different. What is evil to you might not be evil to me.
Understand?
Right? So yeah. So, but I think to a large extent we all are. It's just whether we choose to act on it or not.
Yeah, and also, I mean, this is a perfect example, man. That boy literally wrote in his notes that he wins.
Yeah.
And everyone else is wrong and he is right.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
And you know what? What's going to happen when that boy gets released? Nobody, only those that were affected will remember this. By the time he comes out, none of us are going to remember.
And you know something even crazier? If he felt like he was isolated from the world before that, that world after that is going to be way less forgiving to him.
I'll give you an example. Let's just say once he gets released, if he moves to a different state, everybody in PJ will remember his face. What if he moves to a different state, Penang? Will people remember him there? Nobody will remember who he is.
Maybe,
Yeah. So he will restart his life. Right. The only thing we can hope is no other victims.
He restart his life. One fine day he goes to a kopitiam.
Yeah.
Someone remembers him. And the trauma comes back. And he starts to believe again that the world hates him.
Yeah.
Dude, tell me about anti-bully. I see you're wearing some new merch, bro.
So you know, with everything that's been going on, and actually we've been looking to bullying for a very long time already. It's part of the work that we do. We came up with one of the solutions, which is an online webpage you can go to just to report bullying that happens in your school.
You yourself are created this whole thing.
Myself, I had a team of tech guys who came on board with me, and we built this whole thing called antibully.my, antibully.my.
When do you guys start?
We just launched, right? And all you do, and here's the beautiful thing about it. When we spoke to students, we always say, okay, why don't you report bullying? They say two things. I don't want people to know who I am. And what's the point of reporting bullying when I'm not going to know what's happening? What's the status? So what we built an anonymous reporting platform. This is when I mean anonymous. Even I don't know who are you when you report. Just say now I report to Scholar Anti-Bully. Scholar Anti-Bully, school administrator, immediately 3 of them get a report for check and balance, and then they get to reply and act on it and decide, okay, just if they need more information, you have reported. When I reply back and say, hey, reporter, I need more information. The reporter, after you report, you're given a unique case ID. You can actually go into the portal, just put that unique case ID. You don't need to log in. Put that unique case ID. You can see what's happening with the case. Okay, teacher's looking into it. Okay, what's the next step? What's happening? Oh, they've asked a question. You can reply to it. So it's two-way communication, but anonymous.
So can I ask, because it's anonymous, right? How do you guys make sure that this report is legit?
Okay, so one of the things that we've put into it is an AI system that we are still training it, but the more reports come in, the better it's trained. We are able to slowly identify how authentic this report is. There will be 1 or 2 fake ones that, of course, passes by. But here's the thing: it's better for the school to see, oh, there's a fake report. There's a report comes in, investigates and find out it's fake, than actually just let a legitimate report go by.
So, there's not gonna be any communication or direct direct communication with the reporter, but because you all know who is the victim, you can go and investigate everything.
Yeah, so if I witness something, or if I was the victim, but I'm just scared to come up first, I say, this happened on this day, can you please investigate? Then slowly they come back to you.
I mean, you guys the anti-bullying guys will go and check it.
No, so the school checks it out. We are just the channel.
Understand.
Yeah, we don't investigate it because the power has to go back to the school.
Okay.
And what's good for the school is that then they are able to use the analytics to at least identify, is it just during the exam seasons that there's a lot of bullying cases? What has the trends been like? And also, at least it's a very systematic dashboard that the school has. But the beautiful thing is, like we said, we don't even ask your name. If you want to put it in, you can. But there's no login for the reporter at all.
No login.
Just click on the link. I want to report. Everything pops up.
That's great.
Yeah.
Some people are lazy to sign up.
It's not only about lazy to sign up. It's that the fear of signing up.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, right. How do you sign up? Send your email.
Yeah.
Right? You got no fake email, maybe?
We got nothing. We don't ask email. We don't ask IC number. We don't ask name. We don't ask phone number. Nothing.
Yeah. So how are you guys rolling this out right now?
So for now, we've just rolled out. There has been quite a few, quite a bit of interest from private and international schools, and even private and international universities locally. So yeah, we are slowly rolling out in batches. We're actually hoping that the government schools would adopt it. We do hope the ministry hears us and at least has a meeting with us. We haven't had that opportunity yet. We haven't had that opportunity yet, but hopefully we do. And at least we hope that when government schools adopt it, we will be able to at least reduce the risk of bullying. There's no such thing as zero bullying. At least we reduce.
So because you haven't the government hasn't gotten involved yet, or you all haven't had a chance, have you guys gone to the school directly or are you guys allowed to do
government schools? We cannot, but private schools, private school, private and international schools have very quickly said, hey, this is interesting, we want to be part of this. Of course,
if they don't have another system, why not?
Yes.
Right?
So imagine a whistleblowing system but two-way communication.
Yeah. So I just want to ask, how come government school cannot associate with your...
Unless it's something that's approved by the ministry and enforced by the ministry, they cannot take on anything else.
Really, even if they have an interest, they got no say in it.
No, there was one of the school teachers who were like, oh my god, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
But we cannot do it because it's not sanctioned by the government.
If you are the teacher, especially a teacher who cares for the pupils, they will be very interested in this thing because they don't know what's going on. True.
Yeah. But that's why it's so nice to see private schools and international schools and universities reaching out. And if you are a private school or international school, please reach out to us. You can visit our webpage antibuli.my, or you can just drop me an email or DM as well, please. We'll be more than happy to have a chat with you.
Yeah. Okay, bro. So far, how many reports has there been?
Everything goes to the school. We don't monitor these things. We it's just a reporting channel that goes straight there. And we just launched. I won't say the numbers of high. I think it's about 20. I give or take. We just new.
I understand it's new. But did you get feedback from the schools? Any?
Actually, before we launched, we went to schools to show them some systems. And we said, okay, what tweaks would you think would be necessary? So we made those tweaks based on the feedback that we got from schools, feedback we got from students, feedback we got from teachers. And, so we actually did our research before we launched it.
But so far, have any school say hey, Shamir or the anti-bully team, some reports came in, it actually was true like that? Got any?
Not yet. We are just rolling out.
Okay.
So we've just given them access their admin dashboard. We are helping them run some anti-bullying campaigns. Because if the students don't know about it, they don't know about it. Right? So they need the students to understand, hey, we are not doing this because there are a lot of bullying cases. We are doing this because we care. We are doing this because if ever there's an incident, there's zero tolerance to this. So please use this platform.
Prevention.
Yeah, prevention better than cure.
Yeah. Okay. And anything else about anti-bully?
No, but thank you very much. Thank you so much for first of all, I think before we wrap up, I just want to say, I think as much as a lot of people who watch your podcast, you see a lot of silly things on your podcast.
But have fun sometimes.
Yeah, you do. But I have to say it's very, very responsible of you to have a podcast about this sort of incidences. So I just wanted to thank you personally for creating that awareness.
Thank you, bro. Let's do more next time, man.
Yeah.
Next time got bigger case. Maybe you'll be even quicker to it.
Yeah, please. Let's hope.
Bro, this one is, dude. I don't know. I honestly think if it wasn't in my school, I might not have just, because I'm midway editing the other podcast. I still got a couple more reels to upload. Then I move on to the next episode. If it wasn't in my school, right, I probably wouldn't like. I mean, it sounds bad to say, but I like I said, man, I kept thinking about this, bro. Like, dude, you imagine, and the worst part is knowing that in your form, I knew exactly who was the people that I think would have committed something like that. And of course, now I don't know where they are right now, and wish them all the best. But it's so fucking weird, man, because I've explained in the last podcast also, there was some bullying that I was involved in. I wasn't the worst of them, but totally regret everything is fucking stupid. A verbal thing. Yeah, and it's bad because even though I was bullied in primary school, I still participated in the bullying because they were my good friends doing it. Yeah, but the reason why I wasn't the worst is because the whole time when I was doing it, right, I felt the conscience of like, fuck, man, I know how it was, but dude, you're immature, irresponsible. You do you I don't know why I did that type of shit. What else? I think I forgot what I wanted to say. I just wanted to ask, do you all have any other apps or softwares doing the same shit as you guys?
Not that we know of. Okay, there's the closest one is the government's one called Aduan Bully. And that was very scary or very intimidating for people to report on, because one thing is good.
Your IC also have to give.
Everything. IC, home address, phone number, everything, right? So it's intimidating. By the time you fill up the form, you're already like, oh no, I don't want, you know. So, but it's very good in the sense where government actually monitors that very, very closely. And they're very stern about that, right? But it's very intimidating to fill up.
Understand.
For ours, if you check out the website, it's very clean, very child-friendly. Just really, when we say anonymous, like I said, even we don't know who you are, and we are the builders of the site.
First time I actually have a podcast just based on one topic, man.
Yeah.
First, but it felt like I just really wanted to talk about it, Yeah, and thanks Shamir for coming to the podcast. Crime prevention specialist. I think third time already doing the podcast. Next time also, future cases, anything crazy, we'll get to it. Yeah. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, leave a like, leave a comment. Please support the channel, hit the subscribe button. Suggestions, who you want to see in future podcast episodes, what you thought about today's podcast episode, and give it up for Shamir Rajadurai.
Yeah, please don't forget, click like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
See you guys.
To my homies, I'm missing my oldies, my brothers, my cronies. We all went to court, but before only courts that we knew were the ones where we were shooting three, selling Kobe. To a legend, rest in peace to the old me, rest in peace to my brothers, rest in peace to my whole team. The oldest, I'm missing my shawty.